I see.
Emery told me you write these little books.
Little?
I didn't mean that. I meant she just told me that's what you do now. So I was curious, and I walked into a bookstore. I asked the man in the bookstore, "What's the book that the women are reading? I'd like to read that book." And he said, "Well, you must be thinking of this book." And he handed me the book, and it didn't have your name on it. But I figured it was,
Pseudonym.
Right, yes. And so I bought the book, and I took it with me to the fjord, and I sat on the rock, and I read the book, the whole thing, from beginning to end. The book was about you, and the book was about me, and it was about all the things that happened between us. It was hard for me to read it.
It was hard for me to live it.
I'm sitting there reading, and thinking every so often, oh, I remember that, or I forget that, and some things that made me really mad, and...
Like what?
I come off pretty badly in this book. I come off in real. I'm going to read some parts out loud.
Just say what you...
He looked at me with a look of condescension. You say things like that often. He sneered. He pontificated. But this is the one that really... I live in terror of my husband. He doesn't so much look at me as much as he looks through me. I don't exist. Yes, he doted on me, but he only doted on me because the act of doting made him feel good. Or you could have substituted in for me any woman, it didn't matter. Once I asked him what he'd like about me, he told me he liked everything. I pressed him more. He said I was pretty. He said I was his. He said I was perfect. That's why I lived in terror. Not because he was violent. He wasn't. Not because he threatened my life. He never did, unless you could count living with someone who can't see you as life-threatening, which in a way it is. That hurts.
Because...
I'm not like that. Not now.
It's not about how you are now. It's about how...
I think about dying. I think about when I die, which will be some day sooner than later, and I think that I'm leaving behind what mark I've made, and I think about how this is. This is the story that's told about me, and that's it. And I don't want it to be it. And so I went to the clerk's office this morning.
You did?
Told the clerk, I'm here to file a divorce.
Oh, Torvald!
Let me finish. He didn't understand because...
He thought I was dead.
Oh, you know about that.
Yes!
But I thought I was crazy. He said, Torvald, you think you're seeing a ghost? I said, no. I said I've been lying. It's a pile of lies. I've been lying. And that's done. I won't lie. I'll face the consequences, I said. Even if you don't believe me, find a death certificate. And he said if there's no death certificate, then he should go ahead and make one. And here he is taking out the papers to write up a death certificate. And it was as if he was about to end your life in front of me.
And did he?
No. I grabbed the pen from his hand, and in grabbing the pen, I knocked him to the ground. And this clerk, he's not a small man. He's younger than me, stronger than me. And he grabs me, holds me down. I'm just fighting back, trying to break free of him. And this fight, it's now bigger than itself. And I'm fighting for my life. He pushes me and I fall. My head hit the ground where there's a bit of stone. It cut into my head. I could hear the skull crack. And he's now horrified. He backs away. I think he's even crying. He says, Torvald Helmer, what have you turned into? What are you? And I said to him, and I said to the clerk, you will give me my divorce. And he nodded his head because he understood. And it was about more than, it was about, he could have had me locked up, but he understood. And this is it. I did this for you. I made everything right by ruining myself. By exposing a pile of lies I've been hiding for 15 years. And I'll probably lose my job, and I'll lose my friends, and I'll lose my savings. But I did it! So hopefully I won't be remembered the way you remember me when I'm gone. You can even go write a new book where I'm a better man. Here, take it. You won't take it?
Thank you, Torvald. I appreciate that you did this, but I don't need this anymore.
What?
The divorce, I don't need it. But I do really appreciate that you...
I can't win with you! I can't win with you! I can't fucking win with you!
There's nothing to win! Stop trying to win!
I'm just trying to be a good guy here!
You go and you make everything about you! Every made by my book about you!
I'm in there, aren't I?
It's not a book! It's my book, my feelings, my thoughts, my experience, my life.
I gave you what you wanted.
Only because you wanted to look good.
You were in trouble.
Because of you. Because of your lies. Your camaraderie.
You weren't in trouble and I saved you, and...
I don't need a fucking savior.
I have no idea what this cost me.
You have no idea what this cost me!
Now I'm ruined because I tried to do the right thing!
I bet you wanted to be ruined!
That's insane!
You love it when people feel bad about you!
Ah, fuck you!
Have to take care of you. Have to take care of you, nurse you back to health. Have to take care of you, nurse you back to health. That's your whole life! Everyone giving up everything for Torvald. Same thing as always. You haven't changed a bit.
I don't know what to do around you. I don't know how to behave. What happened? You used to be so... You were a different person, and I find it incredibly disturbing that when I look at you, I can't even see inside there to see the person that I used to know. I think I miss you, Nora. I think I don't see you, but I don't know who you are, and I don't know. I think maybe the same way I made assumptions about you, you made assumptions about me, and maybe I would like what you really are, and maybe I don't like things you like. I kind of found something pretty annoying. I don't know, it's just so hard.
What's so...
All of this, being with people.
Yes!
Does it have to be so hard, really? You said there have been others since me.
There where?
Who were
There
they?
were. Sorry. There were.
Who were they?
All sorts of people. Some were important, some weren't. Some stand out in my mind, and some sort of just fade. There was a painter, and there was another banker. There was an architect, and there was also a man who built the house. The house is the architect design. There was a man, a very young man. I thought it'd be interesting to have a relationship with a very young man.
Was it?
No,
There was a woman.
there was.
Don't be so surprised. She was a widow and used to live 3 houses down. After her husband died, she'd come over for dinner and we'd play cards.
Who was it, Sophia?
Yes.
Her?
What? I can't pick.
I just can't picture it. I'm trying, I just can't picture it.
Kids liked her. She liked the kids, but I just couldn't because I was afraid. You say we've become so honest. So to be honest with me, I'm talking about 2 people spending time together, figuring out how to be around each other. Is that a true marriage? Before you walked out the door, I remember that's what you said you wanted. So, have you experienced that with anyone? Be honest with me.
No.
I haven't either, and I don't want to die, having never had the experience.
Then go have it. I want you to have that.
But what about you?
When I left here, Torvald, 15 years ago, the first thing I did, because I had nothing, no home, no family, no money, was I went and lived in a boarding house. And because I had no real skills, then I could sew things. I did that and made money sewing. And bit by bit saved up what I could. Because what I really wanted to do was for the first time in my life, be myself. So when I saved enough money, I left the boarding house. And then when I lived up north, I found what was basically an abandoned shack. And even though I was living by myself, for everything I did, every decision I made, for what I ate to when I went to bed, I could hear a voice in the back of my head that either sounded like you or my father or the pastor or any number of other people I knew. I'd always in my head somehow manage to check with that person to see what he thought, even though that person wasn't a person, but my thinking of that person. And so as long as that continued, I decided that I'd live in silence, not speaking and avoiding the speaking of others. And I'd live like this until I couldn't. Remember what other people sounded like, until I no longer heard a voice in my head, other than my voice, or what I was certain had to be my voice. That was almost 2 years ago, 2 years of silence. And once I could hear my voice, I could think of things that I wanted, that had nothing to do with what anyone else wanted. It's really hard to hear your own voice, and every lie you tell makes your voice harder to hear, and lots of what we do is lying, especially when what we want is so badly from them is for them to love us. So I find that I'm best, that I'm my best self if I'm by myself. But it's nice to sit with you.
It is.
All right, I'm ready.
For what?
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go do this again. Walk out that door and away from this house, off into and I know what I'm going to have. I know I'm going to have to fight a lot of people all over again, and harder than I did before. And I might lose everything I have, but I've done that before and I can do it again. I want to change as much as I thought it would. But now that everything will be different and everyone will be free. Will be freer than they are now.
I can't imagine that.
Yes, well, I just hope to live to see it.